Angel woman, she got the moon in her eye.
Hey guys, it's Kylie and Zori back at the podcast. I think this one we're gonna talk about like aliens and kind of extraterrestrial and stuff like that. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because we just had that conference with the government, something in the government, a couple of days ago where they were basically saying that, you know, aliens are real and that they found extraterrestrial like spacecraft and remains of aliens, and then they like came on camera in a press conference and talked about it, which to me it's not like blowing my mind because me and Zori have already known aliens have been a thing. Like, it's very naive to think that we're the only living beings, but it's probably blowing half of the population's mind. But at the end of the day, it's still them, just, it's not necessarily like facts and, you know, it's just what they're saying until there's like legitimate proof, but they're saying they have proof.
So it was Congress that met.
Okay, yeah.
And it says that they have UAPs, and I know that video that you were showing me said something about UAPs. Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay.
Let's look it up. It's probably, I don't know.
Okay, it's a type of UFO, I guess. So it says, the House Oversight Subcommittee, this is off of NBCnews.com, held a hearing on UFOs, officially known as unidentified aerial phenomena.
Okay.
Or UAPs. Okay, so that's what that means.
Unidentified.
That's just like a more fancy term of unidentified flying object. And heard mystifying testimony about unexplained object sightings in government possession of non-human biological matter. Which is so interesting.
It is so interesting.
I feel like it's so exciting.
But, like, I feel like it is so exciting, but they always do this. I feel like the government's always waiting for us as a large group to come together and be like, we know aliens are real, and they wait years, and they're like...
It's harder for them to keep things a secret now, because we have phones, and we have, you know what I mean? So, I don't even think, I mean, again, we've talked about, like, how we don't trust the government or whatever, but... I don't think that they've kept it from us because of, like, some weird secret thing that's happening. I think that they've literally kept it from us to...
So we all don't lose our minds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To not into, like, panic. And I also think they've kept it from us because they just want to know about as much as they can before we can know more than they can. Yeah, so it's like, okay, well, if we have this little tiny... I don't feel like they know much.
No,
honestly,
probably not.
A lot of people say that there's a lot of like testing and stuff. I believe that they're like looking into it.
Yeah.
And I believe that they've not talked about how they're looking into it, but I don't believe that they know a lot or have a lot of information. I feel like they do have information that they're not sharing, but I don't think they have a lot.
I just feel like it's always like we know stuff, and then years later they're like, guess what, guys? Here's this, and we're like, all right, we found that. Like when they were tapping into our phones, or like, what was it? No, they released like the thing of like, what is it when you astral project? I think they released something on like astral projecting.
Oh, I didn't know.
Or like
I didn't hear about that.
The CIA or whatever comes out with like. Or, like, how they've been spying on us and stuff. And it's we've already known that through our phones. But, like, years later, they come out and say
it actually is. Yeah. Like, okay, well, we've already been talking about it. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the vibe here. And I don't know.
The simulation thing, too.
Yeah,
I feel like they kind of, like...
I feel like with the government and UFOs, I feel like they are scared because they don't know what's going on. I mean, not necessarily scared, but I think that they're just kind of, like, discovering it, right? And they're just like, well, it's time to talk about it because people already are, like, looking into it. So I feel like us talking about it and realizing is, like, more of, like, a... Because if you said in the 50s, like, if they came out in the 50s and they were like, we have non-human... People would lose their shit in the 50s. Yeah. But now it's, 2023, like... everything is possible, so we're just kind of like, yeah.
But
okay.
I would be excited.
You know? I just feel like, why isn't anybody else talking about it? But
I
whatever.
feel like, well, also, I feel like they want to hurry up and say it in case, like, they're worried that someone might have a legit interaction with one of them, and then that blows up.
I also feel like it might even just be, like, almost like a help thing. Like, can you guys help us? Like, if you find anything or whatever. Because I feel like this is kind of a situation where it's, like, one of those things where it's, like, you know how everybody has their differences until, like, everybody's getting attacked?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, almost like, I don't know, if you're in a room with people that you hate, but you're all being trapped by the same person, it's like, okay, well, fuck our differences. Let's try to figure this out together. Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of the vibe with the government of, like, if we get visited by something and we don't know what it is, like, I don't give a fuck if you're Republican or Democrat. Like, we all just need to, like, band together. So I feel like they almost might be like, if you see something, say something, because it's our species against theirs, which is one of the talking points I wanted to get into, because I wrote a couple down. Not too many, but we'll definitely get into it. So I wrote down the question, do we really want to interact with extraterrestrials? Which, in my head, is like a yes and no for me. Because I feel like, in the sense of, like, yes, I feel like it'd be so cool to know, like, for sure, even though I feel like I already do know for sure, that there's, like, other life out there. To have, like, the, like, confirmation of it, I think would be so insanely amazing and so cool.
Yeah, could you imagine that sit-down conversation of, like, hey, awesome. How's your planet life?
Yeah,
like,
no,
tell me
exactly.
everything.
And I think there's a curiosity out of it of, like, what would that look like? You know what I mean?
Do you wake up and have coffee in the morning?
Yeah, or, like,
could we
even interact? Like, we would have to try to find a way, because they're not speaking English.
Yeah, they're definitely not.
English.
They're definitely not.
Bitch, I'm barely speaking English.
That's what I was going to say. If people in different countries don't even speak the same language.
Communication would definitely be, like, something that needs to be figured out, which is also a scary thing.
That makes it scary because
if you think about, like,
everything,
it almost, the closest thing I could probably compare it to is having an interaction with a wild animal. Yeah, because a wild animal does not know, and on both sides. I don't mean like just us. Yeah, I feel like for them it would be the same. They're like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, like you know what I mean. In the sense of, like, you know that this thing has no understanding of you. Like, if you were out camping and you had an interaction where a black bear came onto your campsite, you know that this black bear, like, does not know that you're not, like, trying to cause harm, right? So you're like, okay, this thing is going to think I'm trying to attack its kids or whatever, so I'm scared. And I feel like that would be the same with, like, aliens, or it's like, if I can't communicate with you, because, again, you can't, like, communicate to a black bear, like, I'm just camping. Yeah. So you know that there's an immediate fear there because you don't have there's a barrier of communication. So I feel like that's the same thing would happen with aliens, where it's like, they're kind of afraid of us because they're like, bitch, what are you? Yeah. And it's also a second layer, because at least when we see a bear, we know it's a bear. Right? We know it's an apex predator. We know whatever. Whereas when we see a deer, we know it's prey. It's not going to run after us. It's going to run from us, like, type of thing. They don't know what we are. We don't know what they are. So I feel like it would be a situation where we're both like, bitch, what? You know what I mean?
It's also the situation, though, of, like, okay, yeah, bears don't know, or wild animals don't know how we're going to react or what we are, whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's also, like, when we push our limits and we interact with wild animals, at the end of the day, if they want to snap on us, they can snap. Mm-hmm. They're wild animals. At the end of the day, we don't know when or how or why they're going to snap. Like, but again, there's like, people that just, like, have tigers for pets. You don't know when they could just snap. Exactly. Like, you have no idea.
And that's the scary part, because, again, like I said, at least with wild animals, we kind of know a history and a background. We know that they could snap at all, right? And we don't, I don't know. I feel like it's very interesting to think about, like, do we want that interaction? And on the other side is, we're not even good on Earth dealing with things that we don't understand.
Or with each other.
That's what I'm saying. With people, right? Yeah, so, like, we still have people fully believing that, like, if you kiss somebody of the same sex, you're going to hell. Right, so, like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not good at, like, understanding or trying to be empathetic with others, even on our own planet. So that's where the sense of, like, what was my question? Do we even want that interaction to happen? Is, like, I don't think, that was my second question. Can our world even handle that interaction? And I truly don't believe it can. I feel like it cannot.
At this moment, maybe not, but maybe years from now, because I feel like we're kind of losing the generation of, like, super judgmentally, like,
closed-minded, like.
So I wonder if also aliens are seeing that, like, maybe we're getting more open.
I totally believe
if they
that.
even have that conscious.
And our world right now definitely is not. I don't feel like our world can handle that interaction, because it's one of those things where it's like, if we can't, like, even fuck with each other, like, how are we gonna handle, like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I'd be nervous
that, like, we'd put weapons up against them, like, the military.
That's what I mean.
Scary.
That's what I mean. There's, like, a girl I follow, and she was talking about that signal that got sent, which we'll talk about in a second, and she was like, I'm letting you know right now, if you get that signal, please ignore it. Like, aliens, please ignore it if you see that signal. We don't want the smoke, and you also don't want the smoke, because we handle everything with, like, harsh weapons.
Yeah.
Like, God forbid.
War and fighting.
Again, we don't know, and I guess that's fair, because we're scared and we want to protect ourselves, so to be on the fair side, but at the same time, we, like, kind of tend to act without thinking, and so it's like, God forbid this thing, like, ends up on our planet somehow, and just, like, there's so many movies like that, where it's like, it just wants to kind of, like, where am I safe?
Yeah.
And we're like, what the fuck are you?
And we take it and dissect it and
dissect
make it scared.
That's the state of our world, which is why I'm like, our world wouldn't even be able to handle that interaction, because the way that thing would end up in a lab somewhere so fucking fast is so, like, fucked up. Like, we can't even, like, be like, oh, what are you? We have to be like, what are you? With, like, an AK fucking 47 in our hands. So, yeah, I don't feel like we're mature enough as a species to, like, deal with that. Which is just annoying. It's so annoying. It's just, because I'm like, can't we just, like, you know, the whole we come in peace thing is like, and that too, again, it's like, we don't know, so to be fair, like, they could come at us sideways, but they don't have a reason to. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's one of those things where, like, humans are so, like, up our own ass that we're like, we matter so much that they have to be coming to attack us. Like, they don't give a fuck about us. Especially if they're even able to come over here, like.
And if they're really intrigued with our world, they're not, if they're already visiting, they're not planning to attack.
Like, they're probably just looking to understand, right? If you think about what we're doing, which is, like, every once in a while we send something somewhere, we send, like, equipment there, anything on that planet that could be alive, if it can support life, it's probably like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And in the same way, being like, oh, there's something else out there. You know what I mean? We have, like, crazy consciousness, whatever. I don't know what that would look like for them, but, like, you know, if they had, like, the same amount of consciousness as us, if not more, then they'd probably be looking at, like, where did this come from? You know, the same way we look at, like, UFOs and we're like, what is that? Like, they probably do the same thing. So if they have resources to send things out and, like, discover and, like, whatever, have like, testing things, and those are the things that we see when we see, like, a UFO, because I always think about, like, different possibilities, right? And we, like, stereotypically, the UFO, we assume contains aliens, right? Like, they're flying in the ship. Yeah. But if you think about the way we send things over, we just send things over that we can still track on Earth. Right. So I'm like, they could be sending these things over and that, like, kind of takes a picture of an area. Right. And they're not in it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, in our heads, we assume that they're in it and have figured it all out. But they could be, I always picture them either at the same level as us or far above us in intelligence and, like, technology. But it also is totally possible that they're just, like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, they could totally just be like...
But they can't be, like, stupid if somehow their shit is getting over to us.
I shouldn't say, like, stupid, but more like... Almost like animals, in the sense that animals are super intelligent, just in a different way that we are. You know what I mean? Like, people are like, oh, animals are stupid because they don't know how to do taxes. No, I think animals are actually smart because they don't do taxes. Right. You know what I mean?
I mean, they could literally just be... they could just be taking pictures, like you said, and just kind of
just being like, what is that planet?
And maybe trying to, like, somehow mimic or copy.
The universe is endless, so we are just in, like, one galaxy of the universe. So there's so many fucking galaxies. Like, you remember that picture that came out that was, like, each little dot that you see is an entire galaxy?
Yeah, like, what?
I'm like, so there's definitely
there has
something,
to be, like,
you know what I mean? So if they somehow figured out, like, how to go from galaxy to galaxy, because we don't do that,
yeah,
we'll die.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? If they
how
figured
will
out
they
how to do
not?
that, I was gonna say they might. That's what I'm saying. There's barriers. If we might be the only living things in our area that we can reach, right?
Right.
I mean, I again don't necessarily think so because we're still finding new planets in our galaxy. But I mean, say like best case scenario, we are literally the aliens of this galaxy. Then there's all those other galaxies that probably have different like aliens, like and different things. And what if they all each have their own? So they think they're, like, the center of the fucking universe. When really there is no center of the universe because it's endless. Like, we're literally just, like...
Or, like, the aircraft that they've supposedly found. It could literally be them of coming over and, like, they just didn't survive because their galaxy was so far. So they just crashed and didn't survive here.
Yeah, if you don't know. Because, like, we study things. We study as much as we can, but... You know, like, if you don't know and they just kind of, like, assume, like, I would say almost like, you know, they invented the plane, right? And they're like, oh, well, let's just keep flying out into space.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't know they can't do that. So then, like, maybe they, like, implode or something or die in space. A star's supernovas next to them or something. Pieces go flying. A piece lands on Earth. You know what I mean? Like, I think we have this one-track mind of, like, oh, if aliens are here, they know about us already. Yeah. And it's, like, I totally believe that they could. I totally believe that there's, like, other intelligent life out there that, like, could be way surpassed what we are. Because I feel like we're still very primitive.
Because they could also be thousands of years older than us.
Yeah, they could be.
So they could be in, like, year 3,000
age could be different. Like, there's different shit. You know what I mean?
They could be living for hundreds of years and have figured stuff out.
And what's crazy is we only know what we know, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, the periodic table of elements, like, they've found new elements since that started. They found, like, new shit. So I'm like, that could just be a piece of the puzzle. And there's already so many fucking elements on that fucking table. I know, this gets so existential.
Oh, like, aliens literally could be, what, like, a 100th of, like...
Yeah.
The shit, like... Mm-hmm. If you find something little in the ocean, like, we still don't know 80% of the ocean. Yeah. It could just be a puzzle piece of the entire ocean. Like, space is pretty... I feel like space is way more trippy than the ocean. Mm-hmm. Just because it's way fucking bigger. It's really... Oh, God. If you think about this as your everyday life, it really gets to the point of, like, we are on a floating rock and people take shit way too seriously down here. Yeah. Like, if you just take a step back and realize we are just floating in space.
We are the universe experiencing itself.
Like, why are we working 9 to 5s? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Do
like,
something
that's what
fun.
Stresses me out when people think you're stupid when you're like, why don't we just print more money? Or... You know, why do we have to pay taxes? And people are like, are you stupid? It's because of blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I'm not stupid. Because we just made it up.
Yeah.
Like, we just
like everything else
we just
in the world,
don't have to do any of that. And we could have, just, lived, like, a fun fucking life. Right. Where everybody's just, like...
No responsibility, no care in the world.
Or if there's responsibilities, it's, like, stuff you enjoy, right? So, like, that's what, like, those, like, communes are about or whatever, where there's, like, the seamstress, right? And you go to her and you're like, my jeans are fucked up. And she's like, I got you. And do you have, like, a banana? Because I wanted to make banana pudding. Yeah. And you're like, I have a banana. Yeah. And, like, whatever, you know? Like, just... Life is, like, perfect, but that's just
It could have been so fucking fun. It could have just
been... We could have all been popping pussy naked in the woods. That's how I feel.
Right.
But...
There didn't need to be this whole hierarchy of putting people in their fucking order and shit. Oh, my God. It's so weird. I bet if aliens do look at us, they're like... Why the fuck are they miserable? Why the fuck are they working? Why are they not enjoying their planet? Yeah. You're going to tell me it's not a big party on anyone else's planet? I'm pretty sure they're all... You know what? Because maybe they're all focusing on how to get to different planets. Maybe in their free time, maybe that's all they do every day is like, oh, how can we, like, get to other planets and discover stuff? And, like, I really don't think aliens would be worried about work, but, you know... That's just me. It's all very just
I was trying to find the thing where they sent a signal. But it keeps showing that we're getting a signal or something. But I don't want to read about that because I don't know how accurate these things are.
I also don't understand. I know this is like a obvious thing, but like it blows my mind. What is it? The atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
It blows my mind that you enter into an atmosphere to get into Earth.
Yeah.
But you land on the moon and you can't go in the moon, but you can go in Earth.
You can go in the moon. Wait, what are you talking about?
Like, you land on the moon.
But yeah, we go on the Earth.
Well, we are on Earth, but there's... But when you're in the moon, you're like
you can see
space, right?
But
like,
the moon is smaller than Earth, like by like a lot.
Do you know what I'm saying though? Like,
no, I know what you're saying.
I feel like
but
you
it's
land
like
on the
smaller.
moon. I know we're on Earth, but it feels like we're more in Earth because the atmosphere.
Also, yeah, we're more in for sure.
Like we're not on
like
top
if you can think of it like this, like Earth would be like the base level of your house. The core of Earth would be like the basement, and then the moon would be almost like the roof, right? So like, of course you can see the sky way better from the roof, because like Earth is like this, and then the moon is like outside of Earth, and also it's like way smaller. Like it's probably the size of like, I don't even fucking know, but like you could probably walk around it. Like it's pretty small. So when you land on it, it's like you can see. Because it doesn't have its own. Yeah. But, like, whereas the moon is, like, a part of our atmosphere. So it's, like, it's just kind of, like, a step out. Where it's, like, you're almost outside.
But then it's weird because then other planets, like, we've discovered life, like Mars or something.
Yeah.
Maybe, that has an atmosphere, right?
I think so.
So then it's also like this. It would be like you're landing on something like this.
This is the only thing that keeps coming up, is repeating radio signal leads astronomers to an Earth-sized exoplanet. Like, I know that we sent some kind of radio signal to a planet that can support life, and it's not gonna get back to us until, like, I forget when. Oh my god, I'm pissed that I can't find it. Maybe they just completely
wiped it off of the...
I know, not them, I was gonna say, not them, like, wiping it off the internet, but I was gonna see if I could find it on that girl's Instagram. But aside from that, because we can move on from that, just the idea of it is enough to talk about, because it's gonna take X amount of years to get there, and then if they even have the technology themselves to support it, then it's gonna take years for it to come back. So I forget what year, but like, I don't know, the idea of that is just like so... Like, can we not send signals before
I know.
We're ready?
Like, how about we just...
Like, what if we just don't do that?
Also, then there's also a different way to turn it. Like, aliens could look like so many different things.
Yeah.
So many... They could look like the green creatures we thought, or gray.
And this is... Oh my god, and this is what we were talking about right before we started this podcast. I was saying that, like, if you think about things a little bit harder... From our perspective, there's so many things on our planet that look like what we would consider aliens. Like extraterrestrial alien. Like, I was like saying, what the fuck is an elephant?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Also, if you look at like prehistoric things too, like a lot of those are like, what?
Dinosaurs?
Shit we have now?
The weirdest
a
shit.
stick bug?
Yeah, a stick bug.
What the fuck is that? That's an alien.
Yeah.
What the hell? Like it just looks like a stick, but it's alive. Yeah. Like what? Or those like butterflies that look like snakes because of evolution.
I don't know if I've seen
those. Oh my god, bitch.
But there is weird things that are like...
Yeah, that is just like, what is that? So
like,
I'm
where
like,
are you from?
If that exists on our planet and we've like studied it and like whatever, what kind of weird shit exists outside of it? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we have this idea of like an alien with like a little ovally head and like big eyes, but it's like, that's just what we made up.
But like, who made
where
that
did that come from?
Yeah, where did it come from? Like,
such a good point.
Had to have seen it somewhere.
I'm gonna do some researching
because you don't just make shit up that you can't, that you've never even seen before. That was like a thought. Someone said that before. It was like, your brain can't conjure up something that it's never.
Well, maybe somebody
like,
did
seen
see something,
before. Yeah.
and maybe that's where it came from.
Because I don't even think there's like an animal or anything that looks like that. The big eyes, green, like nothing really looks like that.
Okay, during the reports of flying saucers in the 50s, the term little green men came into popular usage in reference to aliens. In one classic case, the Kelly Hopkinsville sighting in 1955, two rural Kentucky men described a supposed encounter with metallic silver, somewhat humanoid-looking aliens, no more than 4 feet in height. Oh, they're so short. That's so cute. Employing journalistic license and deviating from witnesses' accounts, the Evansville Courier used the term "little green men" in writing up the story. Other media then followed suit. Okay.
Yeah, but
so
then,
somebody saw something, and
But then, isn't there also the thing where we think aliens are super tall?
Yeah,
like
they're huge,
feet tall,
but they're always
feet.
skinty.
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny because they're always like skinny no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's like because what is Jabba the Hutt? Isn't he an alien? What is that? What is that from? Jabba the Hutt? Jabba the Hutt?
I know what you're saying.
Now me repeating it like 12 times.
I was like, wait, it's not clicking
Jabba
through
the
my
Hutt.
head anymore.
Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, what's that from? E.T.?
What is it from? What is it from?
Is it E.T. or something?
Dude, it's from Star Wars.
Oh, Star Wars. I was gonna say that. But...
People listening to this right now are like, bitch, you don't know what Jabba the Hutt is. But yeah, I'm like, I guess that's like a slug.
I feel
you know?
like, though, the scariest thing is if they look just like us. Because then we don't know, and then they're blending in.
I love that idea.
That's what's weird, right?
I love
because
that.
it only takes a day.
But
to
also,
kinda...
like, bitch, where'd you come from then?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's, like...
Yeah, but have you ever seen people that look weird as fuck? And you're like...
Have
also,
you ever seen people that look weird as fuck?
Like, I swear sometimes, like,
Yeah.
people don't look right.
Some people are a little bit
Okay?
off.
Or, like, the NPCs that we're talking
Yeah.
about. Because that makes sense more if you're acting like an NPC. Because then it's like, why aren't you acting like us? What do you mean you don't know? Like...
it's hard
like,
with that.
I just had that interaction, I think, the other day. And I can't remember what it is, of course. But just, like... How are you interacting with me like that? Like, that's not normal.
I feel like, I don't know, like I don't know if it's like, thinking about them looking like us, I feel like that's less likely, but it's also, like, definitely a possibility, which is, like, so, like,
it's 50-50.
Even if they have, like, no, 100%, that's how I feel. I'm like, nothing's out of the question.
Yeah.
Like, you know. Also, like, we were able to exist. You know what I mean? Like, there's already things that kind of look like us. Like, orangutans. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
right.
there's already things that, like, look like us and act like us a little bit. So I'm like, it's not completely out of the realm of possibility.
And if we came from monkeys, what is making, like, other planets not have that same... If we came from a monkey... That can definitely happen on another planet if there's just an animal where they
Which
come
is so
from.
weird, because, like... Not to get into, like, some science shit, but, like, I've always thought about that, right? Of, like, if we came from monkeys, why do monkeys still exist? That's...
Yeah.
People always bring that up, and I always was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense, because how do we come from them and they still exist? But I took an evolution class. I took an evolution class.
I need to know, so...
I took an evolution class. Well, it was a part of my major requirement. And in it, my teacher explained, and it made so much sense. In short, we just share a relative. Like, we didn't, like, come from monkeys. Just
Did
us.
someone breed with a monkey?
No, just us and monkeys have a distant relative.
Okay.
It's, like, way in the past. But at some point, we were, like, we're related. We're related. We are.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just at some point, like, that evolution split off into something else, right? So, I mean, that's so crazy. I don't know how long ago that relative was around. It was definitely, like, really long ago. But we share a relative, which is so cool.
I saw a meme of, like, a monkey or a gorilla, and it was, like, not the monkey getting upset that we...
That's so fucking funny.
I was like, yeah, that's so true. Like, why
well,
they
did you
get
ever
stuck?
see-
They just didn't.
Not them getting stuck. I can't. No, but they're really the ones that won.
It's like, oh,
They're
I think
really
the
the
meme
ones
was
that are
them at
naked
the
in the-
zoo, and they're like, why am I in here?
Okay, no, but that is fucked up.
Like, why am I
But that's why-
behind a glass in your...
but that's why zoos shouldn't exist. But if you think about it, they really did win. Because if you're not in a zoo, if you didn't get caught by some assholes like us, don't go to zoos. But if you didn't get caught by some assholes who evolutionized and were like, oh, we must be better than you, then you're naked in the woods fucking around.
Right.
If you ever like see those documentaries of like monkeys, they're just living their lives.
Yeah.
They have like their own hierarchies, their own like vibes. They eat little bugs off of trees. They fuck around. They're naked in the woods, and
So,
that's what I want.
They're like, you're like, switch.
So, bitch, why am I stuck behind the glass paying taxes when you don't even have,
Literally.
you don't even need a bank account?
Literally.
You just get all the money you want. They eat fruit. They just sit around with their big
That's so
bellies.
true.
Like, I wish I was them.
That's so
But
true.
okay, there was like a thing. I don't know how true this was, and people said it was fake, but I don't think it's fake. There was a gorilla that they taught like sign language, right? And then she like came out and like spilled the secrets of the universe. Please look this up. I'm gonna look it up on YouTube right now. I'm not gonna play the video, but I'll tell you guys what the video is so you can look into it for yourself. But I remember I was high one night on YouTube and I saw like this
probably the craziest shit.
gorilla tells
Secrets of the
secret. I think it was like about death, about life.
That's kind of crazy. Because think
They
about
shot
it.
my mother.
What?
No, but like they know.
Think about it. All they're missing is the communication with us, pretty much.
Coco the talking gorilla. No, where is it? Where the is it?
You just seen all these things.
This video used to pop up all the time for me. I swear to God. I think it was maybe it was like meaning of life in the video.
That's crazy.
Scientists success. Oh no. Oh, here's what it is. This gorilla spoke and left a message for humanity. Coco. So it is Coco the gorilla. Look into her. If it's fake, totally tell me in the comments. I don't give a fuck. I watched it years ago, so I'm not saying it's real. But basically, she was like, "You guys don't know shit." Like,
oh my God.
When we don't,
Was she spelling this out with sign language?
Apparently, something like it. Like, guys, look into it. I haven't seen this video in a couple years, so. But
that's crazy.
But yeah, that's kind of crazy. And
I mean, what
was I about to say? I was gonna bring something up. Oh, this kind of goes off topic. So if you're gonna say something,
the only thing missing from I think us and monkeys is literally our communication with them.
Like,
I think they're pretty much as intelligent as us. Like if they could communicate with us, I feel like they would have a lot to say.
Also, the way we like measure intelligence is kind of just so stupid because we're like, well, can you like do this thing? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
can you build stuff and
can you
own your own
whatever, right? But it's like you can't do a lot of the shit. Like, for example, a lot of people think like dogs are stupid. Like a lot of people are like, oh, it's just a fucking dumb dog, right? Yeah. But it's like they know so much shit based off of just their nose, right? The way they're bred, like you just know shit in a different way. Which is again why I'm like, it's the same as like people who like go to college and have a complex, right? They're like, oh, I'm so smart. Because you know how many idiots I know that are, like, walking around on college campus, like, with me, and I'm like, how are you even sustaining yourself?
Right.
Like, it's ridiculous. And how many people I know that have never set foot on a college campus that have, like, extremely intelligent brains, you know what I mean? So the way we measure intelligence is just so, like, I feel like it just shows how little we know. Because we're just like,
literally.
I have a bank account, so I must be smart. I'm smarter. I understand that I have a brain, so I must be smart. Like, dogs don't know they have a brain. Yeah. Okay, but they have it and they're using it. Like, dogs can tell, they can smell from your sweat if you're stressed. They also know when people are on their periods. They can smell shit really far. They can like really assess situations in ways that we don't believe they can. Like the way people that like a lot of people just believe like pets are objects. And I'm like, cats,
They know tone
oh
of
my
voice,
God,
too.
they know tone of voice. They know
your body language.
They feel shit the way we do. So I'm like, the way
same
we
with
measure,
snakes.
Yeah.
So snakes go off of your anxiety and your heart rate and shit. So like if you're anxious, and the snake feels
they just have different strengths.
They get like
they have
a
different
strengths.
So like again, dogs can smell like crazy things that
bloodhounds. The dogs, bloodhounds,
that we wouldn't even be able to smell. That's why we work with them. Yeah. They're not fucking stupid. They're just smart in a different way than we are. Yeah. Like they can't do taxes.
Yeah. They're not supposed to.
Bro, we're not supposed to.
I know.
I'm fucking sick and tired. But
but yeah, have to learn how to do taxes.
You know, I feel like that measurement of intelligence is just so like, I feel like it can go in any direction. You know what I mean? Like somebody who's an artist might not know anything about math.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you right now, I can't paint a scene that I'm looking at right in front of me the way they can.
Right.
So they understand how to put space in a 2-dimensional space. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, everything's a whole world that you have to understand. So, like, just because you're good at one thing and not at another, just you're not good at math or whatever. You know how many people think I'm some kind of fucking genius just because I'm a health sciences major? Like, my friends in, like, park school will be like, you're so smart. And I'm not going to discount myself. I'm smart. But I'm not, like, nerd brain, like, I'm into this shit. Like, I know exactly what the fuck is going on. I cried my way through chemistry. Right. I got a B+, and I can barely tell you what I learned. Exactly, I can tell you that right now. But I got through it, and that's all I want. Anyway, I'm moving on. Switching topics. I mean, it's the same topic, but it's a different thing. I want to talk about a specific instance of alien shit that happened.
To you?
No.
Personally? Oh, okay.
One that I heard about, and you can look into it again, and I haven't heard about it in a long time, but I told you about the show. I urge you all to look into this because I think there's a couple episodes online for free. But I told you about that show, Fact or Faked, right?
Yeah.
Where they would whatever. So I heard about this from that show, but these were like, I think it was in the 50s. It might have been what they were talking about in that one thing. I don't know. I forget. But basically this guy, and I remember it being one guy, he was like out and he saw something. Like he saw like a UFO shaped thing. And he took a couple pictures of it. And I forget what he did with it exactly. 50s? Might have been.
Well, I was like thinking.
I forget when. It was just a while ago. I forget. Don't quote me. Because I don't have the story in front of me. I'll try to find it in a second if we get more into it. But just loosely, he took a couple pictures of it. They were like grainy, like whatever, because it was forever ago. And I forget what he did with them. I don't know if he like told people about them or whatever, right? But he had these pictures, and apparently, a couple days after taking these pictures, he gets a knock on his door. And this is where the idea of the Men in Black came from. Which is like, I always have this, like, this is one of those things that's like, it's useless information that I have in my head. It's because I remember learning, like, they were saying this in the show. They were like, this is where the whole thing of the Men in Black came from. Which, if you think about that movie, it's all about, like, aliens and shit. Like that movie, Two guys dressed in black show up at his doorstep, like, give us the pictures. He's like, bitch, what? They're like, give us the pictures. Like, we're taking the pictures. They take the pictures. He doesn't see them for, like, a really long time. This is just off of memory. There's way more detail in the story, but off of memory, loosely. I think months go by. He gets the pictures in his mailbox. He gets them back. But, like, he never saw those guys again. But, like, government official, like, Men in Black, like, came to, like,
so weird.
Take the pictures, and they emailed them back to him, I guess. Let me look it
After
up.
they found
Let me look it up.
Maybe, or found what they needed to find. And I'm surprised they gave them back.
Well, this is where I was kind of talking about, like, help. Like, they want help from people with this shit. I'm gonna backstory. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like that's just so, like, imagine that. Like, that's scary as fuck.
Knocks on the
UFO sightings that landed. I'm trying to see the fucking.
That was probably one of the first, like,
It was. I think I remember them, like,
like,
talking about it. Calvin photo.
So they were probably
It
really
went-
fucking confused.
Disappeared from the public eye. This is it. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find the story. This is definitely it, though. Because I remember in the show they tried to, like, recreate the pictures and, like,
Oh, yeah, because
do whatever. Yeah, they tried to, like, they went to the same spot and everything. Dude, this show was so iconic. I wish it would never have ended because I think it's so cool that they, like, tried to
debunk stuff.
Yeah. Did you have any more talking points while, like, I looked this up so they don't have to listen to silence?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's always, like, I don't know. I always see stuff in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, you always just wonder. But then we have, like, airplanes and things nowadays and helicopters and, like, all this stuff. So you're always looking in the sky and you're just like, well, what is it? You know what I mean? And we're so far, so it's so hard for us to see anything. And it's not like I have a telescope, so I can't just be like, oh my God, like, let me try to see what that is. But, like, there are just so many times where I'll be driving and I'll just see, like, a specific, like, weirdly lighted object.
Mm-hmm.
And I have seen stuff, like, dart before in the sky. And
Yeah.
that's weird to me. Because if something darts, like, our planes can't just dart.
Right.
So then it's, like, you know, that's when it's crazy if it's, you know, a UFO. But
Okay. I'm going to read this story. I wanted to talk about the Men in Black part of it.
It doesn't discuss
I
it.
don't know. It might. I just don't want to start reading and then it doesn't.
Oh, right.
Okay, but we'll start. Oh, yeah, the Pentagon, I think, got involved.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
So I'll read this. This is off of newsweek.com. I don't even know this website. Okay, but for 32 years, the image dubbed the Calvin photo disappeared from the public eye, becoming the object of speculation, theories, and myths. But now, groundbreaking image has finally resurfaced thanks to the efforts of British journalist David Clark. After 13 years of research, Clark, who's worked as the curator for Britain's National Archives, is currently an associate professor at a university, whatever. Okay, skipping, sorry. In the photo, one of the series of 6 the hikers reportedly took, a diamond-shaped object can be seen flying in the sky, while a fighter jet can be spotted in the background not too far from it. You can see right here.
Oh, what?
This is the picture.
What the heck?
The Calvin photo
That's
taken in August 1990 had disappeared for oh yeah, I already read that. Okay, back in 1990, 2 hikers brought the photo to Scotland's Daily Record newspaper for publication, but instead the newspaper handed the image over to the British Ministry for Defense, which kept it secret until now.
Until now?
No. This came out, like, years ago. Okay, wait.
But maybe it's saying until now.
Okay, but Clark
Meaning
admits the
whatever
photos
year
by
it
far the
came.
best. Mysterious aircraft. I think so.
Oh my God, that picture was like...
I know. But there
Very
was more. There was a couple
clear.
other ones. Okay, let me see if I can find it, like a clip from the
Yeah, wow, that was
show.
like very much so UFO looking.
I'm gonna see if I can find a clip from the show. Because they'll talk about it and they'll say...
Okay, yeah. What if, like, the government's literally just, like, distracting us and tripping us up and, like, making UFOs and, like, flying them around?
I know.
Wouldn't that be so weird? And they're just trying to, like, distract us from, like, something else.
Maybe
I
it
would be
wasn't
so
the Calvin.
pissed.
It was like... No, it was definitely the Calvin. God damn it.
I would be so pissed if the government was doing that to us.
Okay. Well, you know what? Should we take a break and come back?
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
I feel like I
you
can find it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll take a break. We'll come back. We're back and I found the clip. I just did a lot of digging. I'm gonna put it like high volume so you guys can hear. But basically, this tells the story of the guy, I think in 1965, his name is Rex Heflin, and he had these, like, Polaroids of... The picture I showed you wasn't it.
Okay.
That was another one.
Still a crazy picture,
that was another one that they did, though. And I know that for a fact because the picture looked familiar. But this one also looks familiar, and it's different. It doesn't look like a normal UFO. But he got these pictures, and basically, we'll see what it says about it.
All right, guys, so I have a series of Polaroids that are actually evidence of a well-documented and famous UFO case, the Rex Heflin UFO encounter. Now, this case still remains highly influential in the annals of UFO research, not just because of the 4 iconic photos he captured that day, but it also supports the legend of the Men in Black. Take a look. These photos were taken on August 3rd, 1965 by a guy named Rex Heflin. The first 3 photos show a saucer-like object high in the sky. And the fourth one, it depicts a mysterious smoke ring that Heflin said the exiting craft left behind. Now, the first 3 photos were shot within 20 seconds.
What kind of camera?
It was a Polaroid 101.
Wouldn't it be kind of a challenge with that camera?
It's definitely hard to do because between every single shot, you have to hold the film.
I think that taking 3 photos in a minute is entirely possible, but I'd like to test 20 seconds. Is Rex Heflin available for an interview?
Unfortunately, he passed away in 2005, but he did work with a team of investigators, so I'm sure we can get one of them to help us out on the case.
So where do the Men in Black come in?
I know this case well. Supposedly, in 1965, when these photos surfaced, Rex Heflin says he was visited at his home by 2 strange men dressed in black suits. Now, they claim they're from NORAD, and they highly encouraged him to turn over the photos, which he did.
Many people believe that the 2 Men in Black are part of a massive ongoing government cover-up between extraterrestrial and civilian encounters.
It gets even more strange because supposedly, after 28 years of the photos being gone, mysteriously they show up in Rex's mailbox.
I love this case. This is a slam dunk for me, you guys. It's got great historical background and completely testable.
Well, it sounds like this is one that we should do. Let's find out what else we have.
All right, guys. I have a...
Okay, so that's
crazy.
it. So yeah, 28 years later, then the photos like come back up in his mail.
So
I think that's
weird.
so wild. You saw the black smoke ring.
Yeah.
If you guys look up Rex Heflin,
I know.
like,
I'm
photos,
sorry we can't show you.
You'll
It's
see
just
them.
like-
You'll see them. But like the I had it pulled up on Reddit.
Crazy
These
good
pictures
photo.
you
Yeah,
can see.
what?
The smoke ring is insane, and they were saying it's hard because like it's a Polaroid.
Yeah.
So like I forget how like the testing went about for that one. But it's definitely a weird one. It's definitely a weird
God.
one.
And this looks like it's in the middle of nowhere too, right?
Yeah.
Just a field, so
Yeah.
it like makes more
Also,
reason why
imagine
it would be there.
seeing that in 1965, having
I
a Polaroid
know.
and freaking the fuck out. Like, I'd be
know.
shaking. And then it just
Wow.
disappeared and, like, left that black ring behind.
That's crazy.
Like, what in the actual
and
hell?
it looks like how you would expect it to look.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
very just like tin, like very just like.
But it
you
looks
could,
like a little
knock on-
hat,
Yeah.
too. Like,
yeah.
it looks so weird.
And it's not even that high up from the ground. Like, that's insane.
Like, imagine it was, like, having issues or something, and then it just darts
Right.
and leaves that.
Right.
That picture is so ominous.
Yeah, that's so
like,
scary.
oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, just out of his car. They're
Okay.
like, give us the pictures.
And
And,
this
then they
is-
give it back 28 years later. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, we forgot about these.
So.
Not him dying in 2005.
Yeah, I know, right? And this was probably.
Yeah.
The
He took the
show
pictures
probably-
in 1965, yeah.
Right, but the show, that episode was probably years and years ago. So it probably wasn't that
Oh,
far
yeah.
off from 2005.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
Well, it was like probably like 20, like the show was probably like 2000. Let me fucking see, actually.
Because
Let me
if it
stop
was only-
making guesses.
If it was only a couple years later, that would suck so
Yeah.
bad that they missed it by a couple
Yeah,
years.
my guess was right. The show's from 2011. So
it's
yeah,
only
a couple
6
years off, yeah. I
That's
know.
so annoying. Okay, but then, like, also, this is weird because if aliens have been coming here for a while, like, what are they doing? Like, they've just been visiting us for, like,
Learning.
70 years.
Learning.
It's so weird.
Like, they're probably trying to figure it out.
And
Like,
it's-
because, I mean, what
yeah.
are we doing? You know
No,
what I mean?
know.
Like, I always try to flip it back on, like, we are them.
Yeah.
Because we are to them.
No, yeah.
So I'm like, what are we doing? We're just flashing
But it's-
signals.
Yeah, yeah. But
Like-
it sucks that, like, I don't know.
It's so weird.
It's like very little progress being made in 70 years or whatever.
And I do believe that there's secrets, and I do believe that they know more than they're saying. Or I don't
to
feel
not
like,
scare us, maybe.
I don't feel like that they know more than they're saying they know, because they're not really saying they know anything.
Right.
You know, Area 51 has existed forever, and it was like, there's alien shit going on there.
That's just a distraction, right? We don't know if there's actually...
I think,
I
guess,
you know what I mean?
I'm not going to speak on it because I don't know for sure, but I swear that it kind of has, like, basically been like, but, like, don't fucking come over here.
Right.
Like, whatever it is, they don't want us over there.
So weird.
And that's where a lot of the shit happened, like Roswell. So.
Oh, yeah, you'll, like, die if you go over there. Well, you get, like, gunned down.
So then let's get into the Battle of L.A.
Yeah, because
that was, like, the original... Okay, do you remember anything that I said from that? Because I only remember, like, a little bit. I'm trying to give you guys the facts here, but my brain can only hold so much.
We watched that video.
Okay. Let me see if there
was, like, a month ago, and I'm trying to remember. It was, like, a couple-minute clip. And it was, like... It might have been the 50s, or...
It was definitely the 50s. No, not the film, bitch. No, not the film. I mean, the film kind of talks about the real thing, but, like, I don't want to, like...
I don't know, we watched a clip from the video. It might have been from the movie.
We watched a video of the history that talked about the actual event. Well, I typed in synopsis, so no wonder it fucking thinks I'm...
Maybe like backstory or something.
1950 backstory. There we go. Okay. The Battle of Los Angeles, also known as the Great Los Angeles Air Raid, is the name given by contemporary sources to a rumored attack on the continental United States by Imperial Japan, and the subsequent anti-aircraft artillery barrage, which took place from late February 24th to early... What? Why are they doing it like that? Okay. The incident occurred less than 3 months after the U.S. entered World War II in response to the Imperial Japanese Navy's surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. So basically this thing came into sight, I guess, in LA and by this military base. So they're assuming oh shit, like this is Japan coming back, like at us. And I'm going to keep reading. But that's like basically the idea is like they saw some shit and they just assumed like right away it was like an attack. So they start like military force start like shooting at it or whatever. I'll get into it. There's pictures of it too if you look it up. Oh god, there was 5 deaths. Okay.
Oh my god.
When documenting the incident in 1949, the United States Coast Artillery Association identified the meteorological balloon sent aloft at 1 a.m. as having started all the shooting. So yeah, then there's a rumor that like this thing started shooting at them. So again, they assumed it was like a military attack from Japan because we just, like fucking karma, I guess. Yeah. And concluded that once the firing started, imagination created all kinds of targets in the sky and everyone joined in. In 1983, the U.S. Office of Air Force History attributed the event to a case of war nerves triggered by a lost weather balloon. Whatever, right? But basically, it was like a UFO. Nobody really knew what it was. Right. And so they just started shooting at it. Let me see if it talks about... Basically... I remember at some point they said that they shot at it a lot and there was no damage to the thing.
To the, like, UFO.
At least that they could see. Obviously it didn't, like, fall down and they saw it, but, like, it just wasn't really moving.
Yeah, because it's probably fucking thick.
Alarms raised. Press response. UFOlogy. Okay. The photograph published... by Los has been featured in UFO conspiracy theories as evidence of an extraterrestrial visitation. They assert that the photo clearly shows searchlights focused on an alleged alien spaceship. However, the photo was heavily modified by photo retouching prior to the publication, a routine practice in graphic arts of the time intended to improve contrast in black and white photos. Okay, that's all it said about that. But there's way more to it. Basically,
Is
it
this
was
like the first interaction.
I
though,
think it
that's
was
recorded
one
or
of like
whatever?
I don't know if it's
Like-
the. It's so weird because you
It's
think
just-
about it, and the Rex Heflin pictures are 1965, and this is like 19 what like 50
something.
I don't know. I think it's like one of the first, if not the
Right.
first. I'm just gonna say one of to be safe,
Yeah.
but I think it is. This is 1942.
Oh, okay.
So it's close to 1950. Yeah, it was being documented in 1949, but it happened in 1942.
Okay, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So that's coming up on like
They just didn't know what the fuck
80
it was.
years ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. They didn't know what the fuck it was, and the government was kind of like, wait, what the fuck? And if you guys look into this, there's so much more information that I literally can't give you right now. Otherwise, it'll take me like 8 years.
Yeah.
But there's so much information. We watched a whole like video that kind of breaks down like what that event looked like and the events that followed that, and the start of like the government even understanding that like, okay, this isn't what we thought it was. Like, this isn't an attack. Like, they were hella triggered, and then they were like, okay, well, then what is that?
Right.
Because we just shot it the fuck up and it didn't move. Like,
I can't imagine,
and
like,
so
seeing that.
I know, that's like, I don't know, it's crazy. It's crazy to me. I don't know. But those two things are alien, like, stories about aliens and, like, UFOs that stick with me. Like, I always think about the battle about LA, and then I always think about the Rex Heflin photos of, like, what the fuck is that? Because, I mean, that smoke ring,
yeah, that was...
I even remember, like, I don't remember how the testing ended up, but I remember a little bit from when they tried to recreate it, and they just, like, were struggling.
Yeah.
They were struggling. Like, I think some of it was easy. Like, the UFO was probably, like, the easiest part of it.
Yeah.
But, like, that smoke ring was, they were like, what the how do we make this fucking, like, and that's now, 2011.
Right.
Think about 1965, like, it's a Polaroid, too. So you only have so much time, even if you're faking it, to, like, run out of it. And, like, I don't know, dude. Like, a black smoke ring like that. Like, to me, that's scarier than the actual pictures of the UFO. I'm like, what the fuck left that there?
Right.
Like,
it's very odd.
So weird. So weird. But yeah, that's basically, like, I mean, my history and my knowledge of, like, UFOs and their interactions with us.
So at the same time, I feel like we haven't even gotten far, like, with aliens. Like,
No.
Like, the press... now that I'm thinking about the press conference, thinking, like, we've been repeating this for, like, 80 years.
So long.
Like, we've had...
Well, it's, like, it's one of those things where it's, like, we can't even all come to a consensus that climate change is happening.
Yeah.
So, like, how are we even going to start to begin the process of communicating with extraterrestrials? You know what I mean? That's what, again, another point of, like, we can't even all be on the same page.
Wow,
so, like, we're not even ready to handle whatever that is. Because we can't even
Unless
agree.
it would help us be on the
Like,
same page.
I mean, maybe.
Like,
that's actually a good point.
Like,
it could be. Because, again, like you said, like, if there's this one thing that comes in, we're all going to be like, well, one thing that we all have is that we're all human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
we're
like,
all
you
going to
never
have
know.
to figure this out together,
Yeah,
essentially.
exactly. I think it's so strange. But, yeah, I don't know. Guys, let us know what you guys think about UFOs. Let us know if you have any stories. I've never seen... Well, I've seen a UFO. Because a UFO is just an unidentified flying object. And I've seen some shit where I'm like, what is that?
You look in the sky and
I'm like, it's probably a plane.
Yeah,
but like you just don't
like,
know.
It doesn't look like a plane.
I'm not gonna say. I mean, it doesn't happen a lot, but and it haven't happened recently.
But also, how many times are you just staring at the sky for all hours of the night?
And
or
also,
all hours of the day.
You got to think about like certain UFO sightings where it's like. Again, like, I mean, if you think about the movie Nope, for example, like the UFO that is like a cloud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if they're really, 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 like, over our intelligence level, like,
they would be
clouds could be them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, clouds are real because we've, you know, studied them and we know that they're real. But they could be, like, in a cloud. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they would know how
they
to
could
maybe
be
escape
or
them
look like,
more.
you know, something else. They could even be really tiny.
Right.
We always talk about them being huge. They could be really tiny. And I feel like movies and media has definitely, like, explored all of those possibilities. Because you see those things where it's like, It's like, they're this small.
Yeah.
Or they're huge
they're
as fuck.
giant,
Or
yeah.
they're just like us. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I feel like we've explored, like, kind of, with our imaginations as a society, like, all the different possibilities of, or at least the majority of the different possibilities that there are with extraterrestrials. But I feel like it really is, because we don't know what we don't know. The possibilities are completely fucking endless. Like, it's insane. Oh my god.
I mean, think about it. If you literally stared at the sky all day, every day, all night, you'd probably see a lot more stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But, like...
Oh, yeah.
We're not doing
Also,
that.
we just don't know. Like, even the people that know everything, like, they're like, I'm looking at the sky, I see something, like, orange and bright, and I'm like, what is that? And then somebody's like, that's Venus. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, like, so, like, we just don't know what we don't know. I'm not a master when it comes to the sky, so if I look and I see something, it could be completely normal, but it also could be something, like, completely different.
And,
like, imagine seeing that fucking hat thing.
Yeah,
and you're just driving, you're like, what the fuck is that? Like, or those videos, have you ever seen those videos of, like, again, like, those, like, simulation videos where it's, like, this bird is flying,
Stuck,
but
and
it's
it's
in
just
place.
Dude, if I saw
that,
that...
we're like...
I feel like I've definitely seen a simulation thing, and obviously, like, I can't
like,
remember
is it
at this point,
crazy?
but I feel
Like-
like there's been some, like, stuff where I'm like, wait, why is it, like, doing that?
Like, you
Or,
drop
like,
something and it just,
glitching.
like, falls into a different universe, because you're like, I just dropped it.
You're
It's
like-
right there, where is it?
Yeah, or when you can't find something that you just put down, like, a little bit.
And then it pops up in a
that's weird.
random ass place.
That's weird.
Pops up in a random ass place later.
There is stuff that
Some people say that's the Fae.
Dude, yeah, no.
I don't know.
Yeah. Or it drops into a different universe.
It's scary.
Because there's literally been stuff that I've put down and then I, like, turned around and went back and it's, like, not there. And I'm like, wait, didn't I just set it right there?
So
like,
fucking weird, dude.
That's the stuff that's weird. Or, like, if we have seen stuff in the sky, like, and we've just excused it, like, me and you, like...
Oh, yeah.
If we literally saw something in the sky and we've been like, yeah, we don't know what it is, but it looks weird, and then we, like, forget about it. Imagine, like, that was something, and we just, like, would never know because we don't have a telescope, we can't see, like...
It's crazy to me.
I feel like I need to buy a telescope.
Dude, they're
You start
expensive,
staring
and
at
you
the
honestly,
sky.
like, don't see shit. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, like... My friend has a telescope and it was so cool and we like looked at it. But you know how we can see the moon in the sky?
Yeah.
That's how you end up seeing like kind of other planets. Like it just it's still cool, but like you don't see as much as you think you'd see.
Yeah. Like if I can just like maybe see UFOs more.
Yeah.
If I'm just like staring at the sky for hours with my telescope,
Yeah.
probably come across more shit.
Some shit's so weird. Because imagine if they were so tiny and they're in the sky. Like, we wouldn't see shit. There could be like 12 of them up there.
Yeah.
If they're like this big, we're not seeing shit.
Yeah, they could be listening to us
Like,
right now.
yeah, I know. It's so crazy. I don't know. Yeah, but let us know what you guys think. Do you think that's about it?
Yeah,
That's about it for this podcast.
If anything else comes out more on alien stuff, we'll obviously
And
talk
guys,
about
watch that show Fact or Faked. It's on YouTube. You can pay for it. If you're listening to this, chances are it's something you'd be into.
Yeah.
If it sounds boring to you, then fuck off. But I fully feel like that show is so underrated, and it is just so good, dude.
Yeah,
We have to watch an episode.
Okay, yeah. We'll have to find one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we will catch you guys on the next podcast. I was going to say on the flip side. We'll catch you guys on the next podcast. Thanks you guys for
listening.
tuning in. Bye.